still believes the American dream. To his last breath, he'll always be a soldier.
Heard on great radio stations all across America. It's the National Defense with Randy Miller and Gerry Newberry.
The National Defense is made possible by Ford, Go Further, by the Home Depot, more saving, more doing, by ADT Security, more than just a line in the sand, by VSP. For more information on how VSP can help you with your corrective vision needs, visit their website at VSP.com. By Morgan Stanley. Discover how they can help you reach your long-term financial goals at morganstanley.com. By the Wounded Warrior Project, serving those who sacrificed for over 15 years. Find them online at woundedwarriorproject.org. By WD-40 Company. Wherever there's a job to be done, WD-40 brand offers solutions with WD-40 multi-use product and WD-40 specialist products to help you live life hands-on. And by Farmers Insurance. At Farmers, we know a thing or two because we've seen a thing or two. Find an agent at farmers.com.
Hey, this is the National Defense, Randy Miller and Gerry Newberry. And Gerry, as always, our dedication.
Hey, this show's for you, the men and women serving in our military. It's for the millions of veterans out there, and it's for all their families. We're here for you. We love you. God bless you.
So what's the USO been up to lately? Do you know?
Well, yeah, actually I do.
A lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they've been, as always, in the game.
Yep.
Making sure our troops are cared for at locations all over the place.
Well, and a lot more than that now. I mean, they've got, so many locations. We wanted to find out all about that. And the USO CEO and President, J.D. Crouch, joins us here in the National Defense. J.D., how are you?
Terrific. Thank you, Randy and Gerry, for having me on.
It's funny. I've talked to a couple of people now at the USO in terms of, what you guys are doing, and it's pretty astounding. I think especially now to people that are familiar with the old USO, the Bob Hope shows and the big tours and everything like that. And not that you guys aren't still doing that, but what you're doing in addition to that is just incredible. Do you run into that every day?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, particularly people from my generation, they do associate it with the old Bob Hope USO tours, and entertainment's still an important part of what we do. But you're right, we're doing a lot more, and the needs of our service members change, and a good organization like the USO, 77 years old, has to change with them. We have to stay relevant.
Yeah, 77 years. And, you talk about, I think, J.D., that's true of a lot of organizations right now, a lot of veteran organizations, and some change with the times and some do not.
And those that don't will fall by the wayside.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, that's how it goes.
Yeah. And, you guys, I think the thing that surprised me the most, you got more than 200 locations around the world now.
Right. So people, the general public probably sees us in airports mostly.
Right.
But we're now on, most of the major U.S. military installations here in the continental United States. We just opened two up in Alaska, Fort Wainwright and Joint Base Elmendorf-Richardson. Those are about as remote as you can get, particularly Wainwright. We're all over the world. We have 59 centers in 3 different regions of the world. We're still in Afghanistan.
Yep.
We just opened 2 new centers in Iraq. So it gives you an idea. We're also opening centers in these little MEPS locations, where the guys come in and raise their right hand, and guys and gals, and swear an oath and enter their military life. So we're trying to be with them everywhere they are.
Well, I've enjoyed the USO facilities myself, not only back during the Vietnam War, and I did attend 2 Bob Hope shows.
Is that right?
In Vietnam, yeah.
Wow.
I stayed overnight in the airport. I think it was in San Francisco. I can't really remember now, but, I got a bed. When I was in Iraq, I used the facilities there. In Afghanistan, also. I mean, and people might wonder, well, what are the facilities for? It's like having a piece of home.
Right.
Is what it is.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it is. Our mission is to strengthen our service members by keeping them connected to family, home, and country. And that connection is so valuable to them, and it's valuable to our country. It's not just to them. It keeps Americans connected to their service members. So, and that little bit of home, there's a great place on Bagram Air Force Base. It's the Pat Tillman USO Center, and it sits in the middle. It looks like a Swiss chalet sitting in the middle of Afghanistan.
Oh, wow.
And they can go in there and spend an hour, and I've had service members, I've been there many times, tell me, when I'm in here, I feel like I'm home.
I camped out for a lot of hours in that very facility.
Did you really?
Waiting on a flight. They can go in there and they can make phone calls. There's coffee.
Yeah.
It's a really nice facility. Yeah.
Yeah. I was there a couple Christmases ago, and there were 3 soldiers sitting there making gingerbread houses.
That's a great story.
They would have, Randy, I don't know whether they would have made gingerbread houses at home.
Right,
but they had these big grins on their faces because it reminded them of stuff that was going on around their table at home.
Yeah, it's a real nice facility. The thing is about all these locations, Randy, is the number of volunteers that are involved.
Yeah.
Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, we have over 220 locations, and the entire paid staff of the USO, everything all in, is about 700. So you can imagine that's not that wouldn't be viable if it wasn't for our volunteers. We have 30,000 volunteers, across the United States. A lot of them are moms and dads of service members. They may be retired people who served in Vietnam and remember the USO. Overseas, they typically can be service spouses or service members themselves. In a war zone, for example, there are no volunteers, in Afghanistan that we can pick up. So the service members themselves, after working a 10-hour shift, come into the USO and volunteer to help support their own buddies, and so it's just a really fantastic way to run an organization because it really brings a lot of people together.
30,000 volunteers, and all. Can you use 30,000 more?
Well, we always can use more volunteers.
Yeah.
Absolutely. People who want to volunteer should go down to their local USO, find them at the airport. There'll be people there that can help them get. I will tell you, we've got places where there's a waiting list, if you can believe that, which is a good thing.
That's cool.
But we're always trying to find ways to allow people to volunteer and to have connection with our service members.
Yeah, I want to talk about you mentioned a military spouse, and there's a special program for that. We're talking to J.D. Crouch, the USO CEO and president, the Salute to Military Spouses project. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Sure. We launched that this year. This is a 6-month spotlight. We've always been doing things for spouses, but we're really putting a spotlight on military spouses' contributions and the challenges that they have. And this 6 months will culminate kind of in a thought leadership summit we're doing with a media partner, Politico, this November. But I just came from Capitol Hill, and we had dozens of congressmen and senators come through, and we did a care package stuffing. And this is kind of the first time we've done this. It's a unique one. It's for the spouse, and it's actually going to be sent with a little note from the service member who's deployed overseas back to their spouse saying, "Thank you for what you're doing to help support me."
Oh, that's cool.
That's a great idea.
That is a great idea.
Yeah. But we're doing a lot with trying to get those spouses networked. When a spouse goes overseas with her military service member, it's often a woman. It can be a man. Dad or mom who are in the service, they know where they're going. The kids know where they're going. They're going to school. But often that spouse is kind of stranded in a strange place, and they don't have any friends, and they don't have a network. And so we're helping them build that network through our network of USO centers. So it's programs like that are really help to, again, keep them connected back to family, home, and country.
That's cool. And you talk about the USO's core mission. It's always been that kind of thing that Gerry was talking about, giving them a piece of home. You see anything with USO on it, you feel good. You feel that welcome feeling.
Yeah, there's an immediate connection.
Yeah.
when you're in the military and you see that sign USO,
Yeah.
you know you're welcome
Right,
there. You know, that's for you.
And that's your connection.
Yeah.
And JD, that's kind of what we want to we do with this show. We've been doing this show now for almost 13 years. It's still the only nationally syndicated radio show that airs in the U.S. and on Armed Forces Radio Network. So we get a lot of families that listen because that's kind of their only radio connection to anything that's going on. So that's why it's perfect having you guys on. It's you've been doing it for such a long time. Now, how long have you been with the USO?
I just went past 4 years.
Okay.
And I've sort of been around the military my whole adult life. I did 2 tours in the Pentagon as a civilian and worked on the National Security Council, and so I've worked for military people and they've worked for me, and I've just had a wonderful. So for me, this is just a fabulous thing to be able to do. I've got the best job in the world.
I was going to say, man, what a gig to have. Really,
yeah, I am a lucky guy. There's no question about it, and we're a lucky country.
Yes.
To have the young men and women who are willing to serve and their families do. And that's the way I look at it. We got to be there for them because we want those people to continue to serve our country and feel good about it.
Hey, JD, in the kind of couple of minutes remaining here, tell us about the world's biggest USO tour, talking about your entertainment. This is a huge deal.
It is. It's something new. One of the things we're trying to do is connect to a younger generation who don't know the USO,
right.
Like Randy, Gerry, myself. We know it, from those Bob Hope days. They don't have that connection. And so what this is, it's a local event here in Washington. We'll have about 500 service members there. It'll be a packed house, and we've got some great performances by top country western act right now, Florida Georgia Line. Actor-comedian Adam Devine, celebrity chef Robert Irvine will be there. But at the same time that's going on, it's going to get live streamed out to all of our USO centers and to the whole world via YouTube.
Wow.
So anybody can log in. It's September 12th. It's the show. The event starts at 5:30, but the live stream on YouTube will start at 8 p.m. and you get a full Florida Georgia Line concert. So we're really excited about it. It's a new way for us to connect Americans to service members and their families.
Terrific.
Man, JD, you guys are moving on, and we want to keep up with you, so we'd love to have you back on the show. Matter of fact, we're going to be in D.C. for
Veterans Day
with the Red Cross. So
maybe we can connect.
That'd be great.
Would love to do it.
Okay.
JD,
come on by. We'll show you the USO.
You got it. Thank you so much, JD.
All right. Take care. Have a great one.
We'll be right back on the National Defense right after this word from Farmers Insurance. When you're dealing with life's ups and downs, it helps to know the ins and outs of insurance. Farmers Insurance has been sharing practical insurance knowledge for more than 89 years. At Farmers, we know a thing or two because we've seen a thing or two. Find an agent at farmers.com.
We are farmers. Bum, 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 bum.
Hi, this is Kelsey Grammer. When military service members head into battle, none are expected to face the enemy alone, but many return home and become isolated as they struggle with the visible and invisible wounds of war. It can be difficult knowing how to overcome that challenge and rekindle bonds similar to those formed in the military. Wounded Warrior Project supports these injured veterans through their recoveries by connecting them with fellow warriors and their communities. No one should fight this battle alone. Join us at woundedwarriorproject.org.
With Labor Day savings at the Home Depot, good things come in pairs. Like a Samsung front-loading high-efficiency washer and electric dryer, now just $648 each. Save over $500 on the pair. They're high capacity, so larger loads are no problem. And at this lower price, neither are smaller budgets. Up to 40% off appliance special buys now at the Home Depot. More saving, more doing. U.S. only while supplies last. Gas dryer extra. See store for details. Valid through September 12th.
We're standing guard with the truth. The National Defense.
Welcome back to the National Defense. It's Randy Miller. It's time now for a brand new edition of the Morgan Stanley Money Brief. And Dan Daglio from Morgan Stanley is here with us again. Hey, Dan, last time we left off discussing the tax implications of bonds. Enough with taxes. What are some of the other risks that our listeners should think about when they're considering bonds?
The
Randy, there are two main risks in investing in individual bonds. First one is default risk, which is the possibility that an issuer will become insolvent or experience a financial difficulty that impacts their ability to fulfill their obligations to their bondholders. In extreme circumstances, this could mean a suspension of interest or principal payments, resulting in financial loss to the bondholders.
Uh-oh. No payments? What's to stop an issuer from doing that? I mean, what's preventing an issuer from saying, thanks for your money, we're going bust, sorry?
Well, the interest rate of a bond is partly determined by how well the issuer is rated by the U.S. credit rating agencies for their credit quality. Your listeners may remember from a prior segment that an individual's credit score affects the interest rate creditors will charge to borrow money. It works the same way for bond issuers. If the issuer has a higher credit rating, they can borrow money at lower interest rates, which means they pay bondholders a smaller interest payment.
Oh, okay. Well, it's nice to know that a credit rating is just as important for companies and governments as it is for individuals. Dan, you mentioned two main risks. What's the second one?
Well, the other main risk relates to interest rates. Changes in the prevailing interest rate influences the market price of bonds.
Oh, right. You mentioned in an earlier segment that you could buy bonds at a discount or a premium. So how exactly do changes in interest rate affect the price?
Well, it's funny. It's actually an inverse relationship, meaning, increases in interest rates typically translate to decreases in market prices for bonds. And generally, the longer a bond's maturity, the more sensitive it is to this risk. As interest rates rise, new bonds will have higher interest rates. And the prices of bonds issued prior to the rate hike are now less attractive given the lower interest rate. However, if you own a bond and are willing to hold it through its maturity, the market price movement in the bond might not be that important to you. Interest rate changes don't impact the original principal amount paid for the bond.
Wow. So we've got default risk, interest rate risk. What else?
Well, the other subtlety is bonds are subject to reinvestment risk, which is the risk that the principal and interest payments from a given instrument, may have to be reinvested at a lower interest rate.
Wow. So in summary, there are a lot of risks in investing in bonds. Hey, Dan, next week, let's pick back up with the upside, why our listeners may want to consider investing in bonds despite all the risks, and we can tell them about that, okay?
Sounds good, Randy.
Be back here next week with a brand new Morgan Stanley Money Brief right here on the National Defense.
This radio program does not provide individually tailored advice. It has been prepared without regard to the individual financial circumstances, risk tolerance, and investment objectives of the persons who receive it. The strategies discussed may not be suitable for all individuals. Morgan Stanley recommends that individuals independently evaluate particular strategies and encourages them to seek the advice of a financial advisor. The appropriateness of a particular strategy will depend on individual circumstances and objectives. Diversification does not guarantee a profit or protect against a loss in a declining financial market. Morgan Stanley Smith Barney, LLC, Morgan Stanley, and its financial advisors and private wealth advisors do not provide tax legal advice. Consult your own tax legal advisor before making any tax or legal-related investment decisions. Morgan Stanley Smith Barney, LLC, member SIPC. Did you know WD-40 Company has a product to get the trusted WD-40 formula into hard-to-reach places? WD-40 Easy Reach has a permanently attached 8-inch flexible straw that makes it easy to keep equipment working properly by bending around parts and getting into tight spots to lubricate and prevent rust. Pick up a can at Walmart, Home Depot, or AutoZone and learn more about this and other WD-40 brand products at WD-40.com.
All right, it's Ford F-150 Radio. Today we're talking how Ford, the official truck of the NFL, once again has the awesome job of recognizing the Built Ford Tough Offensive Line of the Week. Marty, go.
Hi, Mierhawk in high school, the Purple Panthers, 1989.
Say what?
Now, that was an offensive line. Me, Jimmy, Dwayne, Kiko, Melvin, Mount Everest.
This is the big time, buddy. And each week, Ford F-150 salutes the NFL O-line that outperforms all the others.
But they don't have the camaraderie us guys had.
Yeah, Built Ford Tough NFL Offensive Lines of the Week have camaraderie, Marty. They're finely tuned machines, like the new 2018 Ford F-150. It doesn't just raise the bar, it is the bar.
I remember the big game. State semis, our QB calls out naked potato mouthwash.
Okay, listen.
A lot of people think that was the night I earned my All-Tri-County honorable mention. A lot of people.
Oops, Marty must have gone through a tunnel. Go to NFL.com and follow NFL analyst and former Pro Bowl center Sean O'Hara as he picks the Built Ford Tough Offensive Line of the Week.
Home is not just something you can see or touch. Home is a feeling. It's the place where you feel safe to have those little moments that mean everything. At ADT, we believe that feeling should always be there. Whether it's at your house or your business, we help keep you safe so you can have those moments that make you feel at home. Wherever you are.
Welcome back to the National Defense. It's Randy Miller and Gerry Newberry. And Gerry, now we're going to talk to the guy who owns most of the free world.
Yes.
This guy.
And sits on every board.
Oh, my gosh. Gerry Byrne. If you know the name, you're familiar with the background. He's the vice chairman of PMC, Penske Media Corporation. And when I say corporation, oh, my gosh.
Yeah, country.
Name a magazine, right? They own the Rolling Stone. They own Variety. They Deadline Hollywood.
Crane's New York.
The Robb Report.
Yeah.
I mean,
wow.
Unbelievable. Has a great military background. Gerry Byrne is on with us here in the National Defense. Gerry, how are you?
I am indeed great, and with an introduction like that, I'm floating on cloud 9 right now. But thank you.
Well, before we go any further, we have to finish this.
Yeah.
I just want to say welcome home.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you. Appreciate that very much.
Yeah, thank you for your service. Gerry, now you were a Vietnam vet. Gerry's a Vietnam veteran as well.
Uh-huh.
But I was a paratrooper, so I was, a little bit different than the Marines.
It all counts.
It all counts, that's right.
That's exactly.
Well, my twin brother was in the Marine Corps, same time I was in the Army. So
fantastic.
We've had some wonderful conversations.
Hey, Gerry, before we get into the business side, you did something really cool with this Veterans on Campus NYC. It's a Veterans Support Consortium. And tell us a little bit about that. You launched that, last year?
Yeah, about a year and a half ago. Very quickly, what it is, I'm on the, in New York City, I'm on the board of the Gabelli School, which is the Fordham Business School, undergraduate and graduate school. It's like what Wharton is to Pennsylvania, Gabelli is to Fordham.
Okay.
And I'm on the board of the John Jay College of Criminal Justice, which is a CUNY school. And I discovered that Fordham's got 450 veterans, John Jay's got 650 veterans attending school on the GI Bill or Yellow Ribbon program. So I had the City of New York and Lori Sutton, who's the Commissioner of Veteran Services, look at all the schools in New York, public and private, and discovered that there are 12,500 veterans attending school in New York, undergraduate and graduate, public and private, on the GI Bill or Yellow Ribbon. So I decided that, these are unique assets, these veterans, and I said, why not see if we can't put together a consortium and, address issues of need, employment, mentoring, and create a better bridge for them in New York, because if they get educated in New York and stay in New York, the value to New York is extraordinary. So the Department of Veteran Services is very involved. They've got Marsh McLennan involved and some just great corporate supporters. So all good.
Wow, that's some great stuff. And some of these places you're involved with are regular visitors to this show. Especially, you sit on the board of Fisher House. We can't think enough of the Fisher House. I
totally agree. It's just but the Fisher family. Zachary Fisher, who brought the Intrepid to New York, was like a mentor of mine. I've been on the board of the Intrepid for over 30 years, and on the Fisher House board for 25 years.
Wow.
And the Fisher family is just an extraordinary family who just gives without any desire to be acknowledged. They just they recognize the importance of service, and they just want to say thank you and support it. So these are great people.
Yeah,
unbelievable.
There's no better organization in the world than
we always that's our honor to have them on the show, because, like you say, they don't point attention to themselves.
No, it's true.
And so it's just great to have them on there and talk about what they're doing. But man, look at what you own over here, Gerry.
I know.
I mean, this is incredible. If there's any more inspirational type deal, if you're listening and you're transitioning out, or listen, Gerry Byrne is the model for a successful transition,
and a model. Listen, we speak in plain English on this show.
Yep.
Here's a guy who is obviously wealthy and has done spectacularly in his life. He doesn't have to sit on these boards.
Yeah, you're right.
That most of them are veteran-related somehow.
Yep.
He doesn't have to do that. He did his time in the military, did his service, but he's continuing to serve his brethren, if you will, to this day. That's amazing.
And it was, I guess it was, last year that you guys purchased a Rolling Stone?
At the end of last year, we purchased Rolling Stone. We purchased Wenner Media, which was the parent company.
Man, that's one of my. Ever since they first started, way back in the day.
I mean, what an iconic brand to have, but also.
Well, look at that list. There's more than one iconic.
But I'm just talking about with Rolling Stone. But there's some pressure there to make sure that thing is run right. I mean, how much of that figures into this with you guys, Gerry?
Well, it figures into everything that we do because, as you were, suggesting these iconic brands, with Variety and Deadline and Women's Wear Daily. We own Women's Wear Daily as well, and in the environment that we're living in, if you really understand, digital media and how to package and market it to very specific audiences, and then recognizing how print fits in, not to the degree that it once did, and how special events fits in to complement the whole thing, you can create, an extraordinary business. And between Variety and Women's Wear Daily, we do about 130 or 140 events, summits all over the world, and it's mainly business to business, and which is our preference. I mean, B2B is really. It will always be there because people who are in the music business, the entertainment business, fashion, retail, always have a need for news, information, and data. And now that we have Rolling Stone, we're going to get far more deeply involved in the business of music as well. So it's a very interesting time, and we're very happy with the success. But it's all driven by leadership, and the young man who I've been, partners with since he started, Jay Penske, is Roger Penske's youngest son. He's a young man who had the vision to create what we have now, and he did it all on his own. It's not, it wasn't a question of him, taking family money, or he just went out and said, I'm going to start this company, and sure enough, he did, and it's been a great ride. It's been a fantastic time.
Well, when you look at the world as it is today and as it's going to be in the future, media and communications has just grown tremendously and becoming more and more important.
Well, and just like you said, Gerry, kind of marrying all of these different elements, with the digital and the events, and I mean that's where everything is now. There's no. It seems like there's no discernible line anymore, Gerry, between, where the print ends, where the digital starts, where the event is. I mean, all of it's kind of wrapped together.
Well, this is something I wanted to ask because for the last, 18 years, 19 years, I've been hearing how print is dead.
Yeah.
What's the future of print? Is there a future in print?
I wouldn't say dead, but it's... it doesn't have the importance it once had because of the, instant communications you have with, digital and what happens on the net. I mean, you look at the newspaper business all over the United States, and, it's dying. I started at the New York Daily News when I got out of the Marine Corps in 1969, and the circulation of the Daily News on Sunday was 3.5 million. Today it's 200,000.
Wow.
It doesn't make any money. The New York Post doesn't make any money. The major newspapers across the U.S., are being flipped on a fairly significant regular basis. And even in the magazine business, once iconic magazine brands are not being consumed. We have a very successful website called Hollywood Life that was created by Bonnie Fuller, who was one time was the original editor of Us. She ran Cosmo after Helen Gurley Brown. She saw her audience, female millennials, disappearing from subscriptions and from newsstand sales. And she said they were all going online, and she was absolutely correct. So we, with her, created Hollywood Life, and it's got 25 million monthly uniques. Hollywood Life, and it it's where the action is. So it's different out there. Is really, I guess, the point we're talking about. It's just that, but print is not now and will not be, and in the future anywhere as near it once was in the importance that it had. So
yeah, I found myself a couple of times. In fact, this morning I was at a chain restaurant there having coffee, and one of the workers came in and she said, "You want a free USA Today?" And I'm like,
Right.
No,
right.
I've already read that online.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And the local paper too, Kansas City Star. I'm always approached this.
Sure.
And I'm like, no.
Well, and Gerry, you started at the Times, did you say?
No, Daily News.
At the Daily News in '69. Yeah. And this has got to be kind of bittersweet, I guess, for you too, because obviously you start there.
No, it's sweet, totally sweet.
So you don't have ink running through your veins then?
No, I've got pixels running through my veins.
There you go. There he is.
Very digital.
Yeah, and let me just go ahead and just say, anybody that you feature in Rolling Stone would be welcome on this show. So
that's nice.
Absolutely.
Bring them on, let them support the troops. That'd be fantastic. We've had a great run of celebrities. What's really cool, and I'm sure you know this too. No matter where you stand in politics and government, whatever, everybody can agree that you should support our troops. And so it's been a great feature of ours to host a lot of celebrities here.
Quite a list.
Yeah, and just have them really reach out and talk about their support for the troops. And it's obviously gratifying to the people that hear that.
Well, thank you, Randy. I will absolutely follow up. When I was in Vietnam, what started this whole thing for me, I was a young Marine sergeant who was leaning against a wall, and this is like in the middle of 1968, and he turned to me and said, "Lieutenant, can I light your cigarette?" I had a cigarette in my mouth. I said, "Sure, go ahead." And he hands me his Zippo lighter. And inscribed on his Zippo lighter was a phrase that I'll never forget, and it was, "For those who have fought for it, freedom has a taste the protected will never know." And it was that phrase which kind of got into my DNA, that kind of just said, we, this active military and veterans community, we're kind of special. We're not above everybody, but we are certainly, part of a clan that is, for the most part, steeped in integrity and common sense. And anytime we can take advantage of helping the military, I think it's a good thing.
We, the chosen few.
Yep.
Gerry, listen, thank you for the time today. We really appreciate it, and thank you for everything you're doing. We just can't thank you enough.
Yeah. Thank you, Randy. I appreciate both of you. That's great. I appreciate it. Thank you.
And
Take
again,
care.
welcome home.
Absolutely.
Oh, and to you too, please. Thank you.
We'll be right back with the National Defense right after this word from Farmers Insurance. When you're dealing with life's ups and downs, it helps to know the ins and outs of insurance. Farmers Insurance has been sharing practical insurance knowledge for more than 89 years. At Farmers, we know a thing or two because we've seen a thing or two. Find an agent at farmers.com.
We are farmers. Bum, 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 bum.
Did you know WD-40 Company offers more than just a blue and yellow can? There's a line of high-performance WD-40 brand products developed for professionals that include degreasers, penetrants, and greases. The WD-40 Specialist Greases line includes a multi-purpose grease, a high-temperature grease, an extreme pressure grease, and a marine-grade water-resistant grease. The products are interchangeable with each other so they won't cause cross-contamination issues that compromise performance and effectiveness. Pick up a can at Home Depot and learn more about these and other WD-40 brand products at WD-40Specialist.com.
How do you thank the millions of men and women who have fought so bravely for our country over the years? At the Home Depot, we think it takes more than words. We believe the best way to show gratitude is to do gratitude. The Home Depot Foundation is committed to veterans and their families, improving their homes and their lives. Since 2011, we've invested $160 million to veteran causes and impacted over 26,000 veteran homes. By 2020, we'll grow that investment to $250 million. From simple wheelchair ramps to complete home makeovers, transitional housing, community support. We consider it a duty and a privilege to serve senior, wounded, and homeless veterans the best ways we know how. After all they've given us, it's the least we could do. $250 million by 2020. Doing more for veterans. Doing gratitude. The Home Depot. More saving. More doing.
Home is not just something you can see or touch. Home is a feeling. It's the place where you feel safe to have those little moments that mean everything. At ADT, we believe that feeling should always be there. Whether it's at your house or your business, we help keep you safe so you can have those moments that make you feel at home. Wherever you are.
All right, welcome to F-150 Radio. Today, the new 2018 Ford F-150. It doesn't just raise the bar, it is the bar. Why? Eugene, go.
I think because Ford engineers always add new stuff, so the competition can't catch up.
Whoa, Eugene sounds like an expert.
Well, I got a store that sells exclusively bar-raising merchandise, like a calendar with an extra month.
An extra month?
Extrebuary. It has 32 days.
So you can appreciate the new 2018 F-150 raising the bar with available bliss with trailer coverage. It monitors your trucks and your trailer's blind spots.
How about our new bar-raising poker chips? You can play with them or eat them. So,
The new 2018 F-150 raises the bar with auto start-stop, standard on all engines, and an available 10-speed transmission.
We have sandals with available built-in socks.
And we are out of time.
Huge in Oregon.
This is the new 2018 Ford F-150. It doesn't just raise the bar, it is the bar.
Driver assist features like Bliss are supplemental and do not replace the driver's attention, judgment, and the need to control the vehicle.
It's been called shell shock, war neurosis, and battle fatigue. Today, we call it post-traumatic stress disorder, and it affects 1 out of every 5 warriors returning from battle in Iraq and Afghanistan. The Wounded Warrior Project offers comfort and support for warriors with PTSD and all other scars of war, whether those scars are visible or hidden. Find out how to help, because for warriors, the greatest casualty is being forgotten. Please visit woundedwarriorproject.org.
In a military warehouse south of Washington, D.C., a USO stuffing party is in full swing. By the end of the day, volunteers will have stuffed over 10,000 USO care packages, packed them in boxes, loaded them on trucks, and sent them on their way to our soldiers in Iraq, Afghanistan, and military bases around the world. They'll stuff them full of things that most of us take for granted, but that our troops don't often have. Things like toiletries, playing cards, candy, books, little things. Little things that carry an enormous message to our troops. Little things like thank you, like we'll never forget you, like we're behind you 100%, like we love and cherish each and every one of you. Little things. We're all about the little things. We're the USO. So are you. For more information and to find out how you can help, visit us at USO.org. The USO, until everyone comes home.
This is the National Defense.
Hey, welcome back to the National Defense. It's Randy Miller, and it's time for Eye Insights with VSP Vision. Dr. James Winnick is back with us. Dr. Winnick, we're going to talk about genetics. You know, here's something you can't change, genetics and your vision. But what are some of the common, genetically linked eye problems?
Just like the rest of our bodies, there's a whole lot of things that unfortunately we're stuck with because of our genetics. And many things they start with our genetic makeup, and then they're influenced by how we live our lives and what we expose ourselves to. But some things specifically with vision are basic things like nearsightedness and farsightedness. Color vision deficiencies or color blindness is a big one, especially with men. And then there's a whole host of diseases such as retinitis pigmentosa, glaucoma, and other conditions that can be genetically linked.
Yeah, and this is something, my mother-in-law has macular degeneration, and that's an age-related symptom, but is that also a genetically inherited condition?
It has a genetic component, and, macular degeneration is a big deal. It's the leading cause of blindness in people over 55 living in developed countries. and unfortunately it's growing. And it's growing because there's other risk conditions that go with the genetics, including just advancing age. Smoking's a big one. Exposure to different types of light sources like blue light and such. So it's a complex condition.
Wow. I didn't realize it was that prevalent. Can these inherited eye diseases be corrected if an early diagnosis is made?
That's always the key, Randy, is it's always easier to treat something if you catch it early. Kids are a great example. There's lots of conditions where we want to see children really at 6 months to a year of age for the first exam, and that surprises a lot of parents.
Yeah.
But it's all about catching these types of conditions before they become a problem and they're easier to treat.
Well, and with the tools that you guys have now, I mean, it's just incredible. And, while you may not be able to control your genetics, there are some things you can do to promote good eyesight, right? So how can people keep their eyes healthy?
Your eyes are part of your body, Randy.
Yep.
So it's just the same type of advice that hopefully you're getting from your primary care physician, and that's eat properly, exercise, drink lots of water, get enough sleep and rest, good diet that's rich in fruits, leafy vegetables. If you can't get a good diet, using dietary supplements and making sure you are getting the nutrients you need.
And just try to be born to the right set of parents.
That always helps. But if you're not, get seen. That's the biggest thing. Don't avoid care. Don't take the philosophy, I'm only going in if it hurts. Get checked early.
Yeah, especially with your eyes. Is there anything else you'd like to add?
Yeah, Randy, this is great news. VSP is currently a vision carrier for hundreds of thousands of patients through the Federal Dental and Vision Insurance Program, which most people know as the FedVIP program. They're now going to be offering vision care for military families and retirees, and you're going to be able to enroll in vision care coverage during the open season, which is November 12th through December 10th of 2018, and that'll give you and your family coverage beginning in January of 2019. And you can get more information about that if you visit choosevsp.com.
ChooseVSP.com. Dr. Winnick, thank you very much. We'll be back next week with a brand new episode of Eye Insights with VSP Vision right here in the National Defense.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight?
Welcome to F-150 Radio, the new 2018 Ford F-150. It doesn't just raise the bar, it is the bar. Dean, go.
I'm all about lowering the bar, like I only brush my teeth on Monday.
The new Ford F-150 lineup raises the bar by being number one in towing, payload, and torque. It can make you more capable.
Capable schmapable.
The new 2018 Ford F-150. It doesn't just raise the bar, it is the bar.
When properly configured, classes full-size pickups under 8,500 pounds GVW based on Ford segmentation.
Labor Day means fall is just around the corner. So are Labor Day savings at the Home Depot. Up to 40% off appliances, like the LG stainless steel gas range, a special buy now at just $648. Over $250 off. If you're about to get busy with fall fun, family, and traditions, you could use some help in the kitchen. Labor Day savings, now at the Home Depot. More saving, more doing. U.S. only while supplies last. See store for details, valid through September 12th.